Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Nurfuad bin Muhammad Nasir from Group 7. I today we're going to discuss about the demerits of multi-party system in Malaysia. First of all, let's talk about the introduction first. A multi-party system can be defined as a system in which many political parties have the capacity to gain control of government offices independently or in coalition. In other words, the multi-party system have more than two parties which are represented and elected to public office. Malaysia is the one of example of the country that uses multi-party system in their government. Malaysia has two strong parties and some smaller parties that have also obtained representation. The balance of power in the parliamentary system may be held by the smaller parties and hence may be welcomed to create a part of a coalition government along with one of the bigger parties, or may give a supply and confidence agreement to the government, or may instead act freely from the dominant parties. The multi-party system supported by various types of political parties since it gives the individuals with more prominent freedom to precise their seized on public affairs. The more political parties involved, the more possible different ideologies and viewpoints are put forward. Multi-party systems also act as the saver for the country from the tyranny or either absolute one-party government or the tyranny of cabinet in a two-party system. However, this multi-party system is said to be unlikely to stabilize the government and hence do not permit continuity of policy. For example, Italy has many political parties and is unable to maintain a government in the long run, while Netherlands, Sweden and Norway generally manage to construct their multi-party coalition that govern effectively. From the given example, clearly we can conclude with the big numbers of political parties is not the only reason for instability of the cabinet, but it depends on the political culture, the degree of agreement on basic issues, and the rules for forming and dissolving a cabinet.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Syamil Farhan bin Muhammad Syamsul Hisham. My matric number is 2019444122. So I will explain about the multi-party system in Malaysia. The supreme ruler of Malaysia's constitutional monarchy, known as the King, is chosen for a five-year term by the hereditary rulers of the country's 9 kingdoms, with the position rotating among them. The King's powers are mostly ceremonial. He appoints the leader of the largest party or coalition in the lower house of parliament as prime minister and other MPs as cabinet ministers on the prime minister's suggestion. The lower house, which is Dewan Rakyat, which has primary legislative authority, is made up of 222 members who are elected for 5-year terms from single-member districts using the first past the post election system. Elections are held using a universal suffrage system. Since the Federation of Malaya's independence in 1957, the People's Alliance and its successor coalitions, the Barisan Nasional or National Front, have dominated elections. The United Malays National Organisation, UMNO, is the largest party in the BN, which also comprises the United Traditional Bumiputra Party from Sarawak, junior coalition members representing ethnic Chinese and Indian groups, and 10 minor parties. The Electoral Commission and the electoral system are rigged in favor of the ruling alliance. The government's influence has a significant impact on the rule of law. Criminal charge and slander lawsuits are regularly brought against opposition politicians. Many of the laws date from British colonial rule and severely limit freedoms of association, assembly, media, and expression, even when they have been modified. Although the Constitution protects religious freedom, it is regularly disregarded in law and practice. All ethnic Malays are required to register as Muslim and practice Sunni Islam. The Shia sect has been outlawed. In all issues concerning Islam, Sharia court has jurisdiction. Civil court have decided that individual Malays cannot reject Islam and must subordinate to religious courts. Malaysia's Indian and Chinese minority practice Hinduism, Buddhism, and other faiths. Although they endure prejudice, government limitations, and violence. So for the next one is the types of political party in Malaysia. There are currently 27 registered political party in Malaysia, with 13 in Peninsular Malaysia, 9 in Sabah, and 5 in Sarawak. The ruling National Front, Barisan Nasional, which has 14 component parties, has a majority in both parliament and 8 of the 13 state legislatures. The Barisan Nasional describes itself as a confederation of political parties that support the Barisan Nasional's goals. Although all candidates run under the Barisan Nasional symbol in elections and there is a Barisan Nasional platform, each constituent party releases its own manifesto and there is intra-coalition rivalry for seats before nomination days. The Islam Party of Malaysia, PAS, the Democratic Action Party, DAP, and the National Justice Party, Keadilan, were established as the People Alliance. In the People Alliance, each political party has its own philosophy. PKR advocates social justice and anti-corruption values. PAS seek the establishment of Malaysia as a country based on Islamic legal theory, and the DAP promotes secular, multiracial, social democratic ideals.
For the first demerit, the combination of heterogeneous political elements may weaken the coalition government. Each party must form an alliance to increase public support. This is because there will be a lot of competition for the selection because there are so many parties competing. As a result, multi-party system necessitates close political cooperation. The coalition approach to politics in Malaysia is unavoidable, as it brings together political groups on a single platform to compete. For example, since the formation of Perikatan or Barisan Nasional between the UMNO, MCA and MIC parties, this circumstance demonstrates the necessity of coalition by building as a major aspect of Malaysia's multi-ethnic politics. The efficacy of coalition politics is jeopardized by the parties' inability to reach an agreement. In most situations, no party can establish a government with an absolute majority after election. As a result, certain parties will need to join forces before a government can be established. Typically, these coalition administrations are weak and unstable. The second demerit generate unnecessary revival that make the elector normally vote for personality, not for the program. They do not even know who will form the government. Several parties are vying for the ultimate prize of controlling the country, each striving to outperform the other. This might lead to unfavorable revival among the various stakeholders. If not properly managed, it might lead to conflict and stymie the country's progress. For instance, there is revival for voters from Malay ethnicity and Islam, people who are familiar with the ideology of the Malay political parties like UMNO and PAS. However, the Malay race has broken down because of the dispute between these two parties. This is since UMNO is considered a secular party whereas PAS is considered an Islamic party. The blame game between each other is still going on. Each party has their own ego. As a Malay-based common party, UMNO claimed that to be adamant about putting Islamic idea into practice, accusing PAS of being a traditional party that stimulates program. PAS as an Islamic party claimed to be more Islamic than UMNO and excused the latter that abandoning Islamic idea. The basis of both sides' disagreement is Islamic concept, which they each understand differently. The Malay people culture is inextricably linked to Islam. That is why Malaysia political parties such as UMNO, PAS and PKI keep bringing up the topic of Islamic India campaign. This will become absolute if individuals are unable to comprehend their political interests. The Malay people would pick their candidate based on merit rather than party support. This demonstrates that a multi-party system will result in excessive competition.
Last but not least, with many political parties, it will automatically incur high expenses. It can be expensive to operate since all the parties vying for political power. This is because every elected representative needs support from the people to vote. So, they will organize or launch their programs such as allies, advertise in the media, create facilities for the convenience of the people, contribute funds to the people, and so on. The cost for the programs can be hundreds, thousands, or can even be millions. Then, try to imagine how much it will cost if many parties did the same thing. No wonder if it reaches a cost of hundreds of billions. Therefore, it will be more cost effective if there is only one political party that has the right to do so. For example, in Budget 2013, the 6th Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak announced in continuation of BRIM, it known as BRIM 2.0. The program shall continue to disburse the 500 ringgit aid to eligible household. A sum of 2.5 billion ringgit will be given to a total of 5.7 billion households in Malaysia. Besides, in 2010, the Terengganu state government has distributed 23,077 laptops to school children within 5 years. The Chief Minister of Terengganu, Datuk Ahmad Bilang, has announced that the contribution of laptops to students at the school has cost 8.5 million ringgit. So, with that example, we can already imagine how much cost will have to be done in order to succeed in their campaign. Otherwise, the cost can be reduced by simply implementing a single party system in our country. In conclusion, everything that exists must have its own pros and cons, including the multi-party system in our country. In a nutshell, the demerits or disadvantages of multi-party system in Malaysia are the combination of heterogeneous political elements may weaken the coalition government. Then, also generates unnecessary rivalry that make the electors normally vote for personalities, not for the programs. But they do not even know who will form the government. Lastly, it will have to incur very high expenses in order to implement campaigns conducted by the elected representatives in an effort to win the hearts of voters. No matter which political party wins the election and becomes the government, politicians should not act in such a way to gain more power. The multi-party system originally had its own advantages, but it also gave a negative impacts to the citizen and also to the country. So that's all from us. Thank you so much.